Well, hello and welcome to Super Summer Series TV, a trade special episode coming to you as we look ahead to SSS 5 for season 26-27. We're going to have a look at all the teams, break it down, Ben, to see who will be back and what changes there may be. We're also going to have a look at Token Mall and we'll do a bit of a grand final review. But firstly, congratulations to yourself and Luke and Berkeley & Co. on being the premiers for season 4 of SSS 25-26. And there's the claret jug, and well deserved.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a great game. Didn't think we would obviously come out with such a convincing victory, but we did, and we were pretty happy with ourselves,
Well,
Luke
that's
and
the
I.
result. The Cannons finishing on top, coming in very, very highly ranked favourites, coming off a very intense training regime, lots of golf, simulation of what the Super Summer Series would be all about, lots of training. Not so much for Berkeley & Co. Took a more relaxed approach to it. Wayne Wunham came in having probably in his best form ever in Super Summer Series history, but it wasn't to be on the day, shooting 38 off the stick with a handicap of 0. So their net score stayed at 38 with a handicap of 4. You got 38 and beat them comfortably in the end by 4. But I think, and there's been a fair bit of analysis about this, Ben, around winning the toss and handing it over to yourselves for Luke to tee off first, him putting it on the green. And was that a tactical error? Now, we know, we spoke to Peter Venables, who was in your corner. We also speak to Pete Delbridge, Water Cannons, partner of Wayne for the entire Super Summers history, and he indeed thought it was a strategic error as well.
Well, I certainly was. If I won the toss, was keen to go first, put them under the pressure. As the underdogs, you sort of need everything you can get to sort of get on top. So I was obviously always keen to go first, and when they won the toss and put us in to go off first, I was pretty happy with that result, and it came to fruition with Luke putting it onto the green.
They bogeyed it. You birdied it, or Luke birdied it. It was all him, and you went from 4 handicap 4 advantage to 6 advantage after one hole. You then got another shot up after 2, so 7 shots down after 2 holes. It was all uphill from there, and their body language kind of showed it.
Yeah, and look, we obviously had the right of way onto the second hole, and Mopper and Wayne put it into the water, probably overshot it a bit, probably trying to manufacture something, and both went into the water, searching for the ball for a very long time as well. So Luke obviously put it on the green, put it onto the fairway. I trickled into the water myself, but having one in play while they were searching for their two was a nice little confidence lifter as well.
Well, there it is. Congratulations. There will obviously be more formal presentations, as it always is, for the premiers, particularly as we look ahead to our season launch. But the premiers for season 25-26 in season 4 of SSS is Berkeley & Co. And well done to you,
Thank you very
for
much.
that. What we are going to do now is talk about the trade period. So every year when the season finishes, we have a look at what teams might be back. We get many of returns. We do get some changes, and potentially we might have a 12th team, which we may talk about tonight, bringing a new team in. But the trade periods from now until the end of June, we'll have a look at who sticks and who splits first, and then we'll get in and talk about the how you can register your team for Super Summer Series 5 before we talk about the exciting pre-season camp in Token Mall. Righto, Berkeley & Co. I'll handle this one. Pretty easy for me. Premier, the new combination of yourself and Luke. So Lockie obviously had other commitments, and Billy was kind of nowhere to be seen for the season. So he was delisted at the halfway point,
which we kept out of the media.
And he kept out of the media and really kept that and just focused on your golf and Premier. So definitely a stick there for Berkeley & Co. And we'll move on pretty quickly. Blue Gorillas, your thoughts?
They're a stick for me. They had their highest ever finish. Matty and Wayne finally got the golf ball moving into the right direction, and I felt they were a real threat to pose on finals. And I reckon they're an early favourite for finals in SSS 5.
Yeah, they're best finished since their time in Super Summer Series, and coming home with a bit of a wet sail. And Matty Mullen's injured in that first half of the season, but once that injury was done, they really slung some really good, consistent golf and some wins together. And we're in a chance for finals coming to the last round. Results didn't go their way, but next year I think that we could really see them as a threat pushing for the top four.
They had that horrible round where they shot well into the 40s. I think it was a
49,
40,
49, I think.
49.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Well, there you go. And that probably cost them a finals berth. Sorry, wait a minute. I didn't realise it was 49. But yeah, that's certainly something that probably cost them a finals berth.
Probably the worst Ambrose score in the history of Super Summer
Over
Series
9
golf.
holes, certainly.
Double eagle. For me, look, they finished fourth. What about finishing the handicap? Started the season with a handicap of 9, coming down to 1. And I think they played the finals, played the semi-final. So in an inaugural year playing finals, a really good outcome. I see them as sticking into next season.
Look, the reason they got to a semi-final was because of that 9 handicap. I don't think if the handicap was adjudicated as it should have been, I don't think they would be in the semi-final. But yeah, look, I don't have the short assurance that you do that they will stick for next year.
Right,
But,
I think there's some doubt there.
I think there's some little bit of doubt going into the next season, but we'll soon find out.
All right, where's the doubt? Where's the doubt coming from? Who's got the doubt? Danes, Jules, where's it coming from?
I think Jules might just think about where else he might be able to show his talents. Maybe have a bit more freedom to play the golf he wants to play under a different partner.
All right, let's have a look at the good fellas. Your thoughts on this one?
They're a stick for me. They keep saying that they don't care where they finish. There was a twinkle in their eye when they saw the opportunity to be able to be in the top 4 and potentially play off in a final series. Mick and Pete knew what they were doing. They know how to play the handicap game incredibly well. They keep hanging around that 6 or 7 mark. And so I just think they'll stick. I think they'll move into a top 4 position next year, and I think they're the early favourites to get there, particularly hanging around that handicap mark.
Just percentage kind of keeping them out of what would have been their first final series. They say they don't care, but coming into that semi-final and they knew the math, they were quick to race to the green to see what the outcome of your match would be.
The F word was on their mind, and it was finals, and they knew what they wanted. They wanted to go after it. They just fell short in the end, but they didn't die wondering, and they certainly gave a few teams a fair shake and a fair scare.
I think one of the concerns we've got Alex Coronius there as their third player. They talk a big game about the love bubble of the good fellas, but I think that this could be perhaps Alex last season with the good fellas. He rarely gets a game. Pete, look at it at the end of the season. I paid you fine, Alex. Posted all on the WhatsApp group. What a good guy I am. I paid you fine, Alex. Well, Pete, how about you give the poor bloke a game? He's desperate for a game out there. I've seen him at the driving range on a number of occasions, ready to try and test his wares out there and all the competition has to offer for Super Summer Series TV, but he won't get a game. Pete just won't give him a look in. So I think Alex could potentially be looking elsewhere and perhaps might even be contemplating his own team.
Well, that's certainly a surprise to me, but we know what Pete's like. He likes to rule the roost, and he likes to upset a few teammates. We've known that in the past.
Righto, the golf gods. Your thoughts?
I think this is a who knows. I've been doing a bit of digging, and I know Lucas Elliott could be potentially involved more heavily with the pennant team next year down at Kooringal Golf Club. So I think that's going to be something that might drive away his effort to be able to play on a Wednesday night, particularly with
just purely on availability.
Truly on unavailability. I think Mickey Hay will still like to keep the golf god's name, and Lucas Elliott might be a very handy 3rd or 4th ring in when required. But I think that's the doubt that's surrounding the golf gods at the moment.
And look, they finished 8th, so that's not a ladder position that they'd be comfortable with. I think they paid the price for practically dominating Keilor last year, which was an easy course, very drivable par 4. So they were penalised up front with a very high plus handicap coming into the season. But I think Nick Hay was one of the better performed individuals for the season. Definitely the most improved. Definitely played some fantastic golf. So whoever his partner may be next year, whether it's Lucas or somebody else, I think the golf gods will be back and very formidable.
Just a quick shout out to Lucas Elliott. If you are going to be more heavily involved in the pennant team with Kooringal next year in some sort of leadership capacity, let's make sure that you're not putting 43 times in a round of golf. That's something that you might want to wipe out of your game.
All right, let's have a look at the next team, Live Golf, and finishing 7th, a handicapper 1. I've got some concerns over this team. I'm not sure they'll be back. When you have a look at the photograph there, very rarely do they even get photographed together as a team, this unit. I am hearing some whispers on the rumour mill that BJ may be manoeuvring, and this is news you will hear first here on Super Summer Series TV, that we could have a first father and son team coming into Super Summer Series 5 next year, where he may be looking at pulling Mitch away from the specialist fielders. We'll talk about them at the moment. They finished last. So could Mitch and BJ come together as a pairing into next season? Stay tuned on that, but that is the whispers I'm hearing.
Look, no surprises from me. I think BJ, having seen and having been involved, obviously as a commissioner, I think he wants some success, and I think he needs to probably find that partnership elsewhere. And I think Mitch Jamieson certainly a particularly well-oiled golfer that he can partner up with.
And with Mitch's cricket career on the cusp of going to some significant places, perhaps the father-son combination might be a good bonding exercise in these limited times that he may get to spend with Mitch if his career does take off. But Mark will bounce back. We may see another team involving Mark and another player.
Mark's performances in the last half of the year probably kept with golf in that finals. Got him off the bottom of the ladder, and there was still a chance, even though they were on the bottom of the ladder at the halfway point, there was still a chance to potentially play finals. And Mark Ellison's form was a big contributor to that.
Let's have a look at Spaz Ball. Pretty easy one for you.
Sticking. Baggers, it's like he's got clarity now that Coggers is out of the rear view mirror. There's no more Coggers, and he's got Driscoll, or Disco as people like to call him. So yeah, certainly a formidable partnership, and certainly a scary team, I think, when they can get going. With Driscoll gets his driver going, one that
he did in the semi.
He did in the semi. He found it off the back of the truck, a nice ping G430. So yeah, certainly a formidable partnership, and I think Bagger, for me, if it wasn't Mickey Yeo, the MVP of the competition, it was Bagger. The way he drains and putts and plays his golf is certainly a very talented golfer.
Yeah, playing with new levels of freedom since Coggers has been moved on from Spazball. Third, a handicap 1.25. So the collective golf's improved out of sight as well. They're probably not happy with that handicap, but it is testament to how well they played at the back end of the season.
I'm already giving them the early premiership favourites for next year.
There we go. Specialist fielders. Okay, this one here, finishing last. That is unfamiliar territory for the specialist fielders, who've been the perennial finals team since the inauguration of this competition. But yeah, it didn't go well for them this season at all.
Well, you touched on it before with Mitch Jamieson potentially forming with a father-son. I think they're done. I think Luke Delbridge will certainly find some other talents that are potentially out there. Maybe it could be a second father-son team, and we could get to that later as well in the show.
Could be a second father-son, but
it could bring a second father-son team out of this one. Specialist fielders, look, they had a good run, 2 grand finals, and a semi-final as well. And obviously now the wooden spoon. I think all good runs need to come to an end.
Something's got to change. Yep. Sometimes you've got to break up a team if it's just not quite working. But a wooden 100%. Spoon, they're not going to be happy with that. I think we'll have great pleasure as a competition handing over the Wooden Spoon Award to them as part of the formal presentations. But that's not something that's going to sit comfortably with them. And they'll be having a good hard look at their golf and what that looks like for both of them next season.
I think it'll be a fairly mutual breakup, and there won't be any bad blood. They gave it a good run. It's just time to move on to something different.
St Albans old boys. I'll let you deal with this one, but it's pretty simple for me.
Look, there's always question marks around these two. They always say they're sticking, but there's always rumours and talk behind each other's backs about whether or not they will stick or stay or leave the partnership, to be honest. I don't think it's as lovable or as connected as they think it is. However, I don't see the team changing, particularly if the commissioner dictates the competition like he dictates that team. I don't see there being any sort of democracy or fair leading there.
Disappointing finish. We were at the top of the table halfway through the season, and we just couldn't pull it together after the break at all. I think we were we had the forfeit, which gave you guys that leg up into the 4. Yeah. And then we didn't get a win after that, and it didn't go well. But we'll be back.
Very favourable draw to start the season by the commissioner.
Looking forward to it. Righto, the Fuggies. Your thoughts on this one? They finished 10th after being winning the premiership last year. So again, not ideal. Sordo was out for a bit, so their premier golfer was injured, which probably compromised their winning capacity. Your thoughts on this?
I'm putting it as a question mark. Uh, I think with Dave Sortino fit and having seen Rory perform so well when he was required to fill in, I think it could make way for Jeff Reeves to be maybe the third or fourth fiddle in that grouping, and maybe find another partnership as well, Jeff Reeves. So I think it could be another father-son team in David and Rory to be the main show
Potentially have
card.
3 father and son teams in the competition next year, and
I think so.
with Reezy relegated virtually the Alex Coronius of the Fuggies.
And look, that might be a nice little partnership, Alex Gronis and Jeff Reeves coming in with a new team. But I don't know. I think that'll be certainly discussed over this trade period month, whether Dave takes Rory on full time as a partnership.
All right, interesting. We're really looking forward to that one. That will be the big, interesting make-up for next season. The Water Cannons, runners up. Obviously, the standard team of Water Cannons is Pete Delbridge and Wayne Wunner. But when you look at that photo, they say they're thick. They say they stick fat. They're a close-knit unit. But photos don't lie. They couldn't be more awkward there. And this constant narrative around how thick they are, it's about as believable as Anthony Albanese saying for the 50th time he won't touch the capital gains tax. It's just not believable.
No, it's not, and I think it's the end of the Water Cannons as we know it with the Pete Delbridge and Wayne Wunner partnership. I think that is done. In my opinion, I think it's game over, and Pete Delbridge might have a look around at what's available in this trade period. He saw the success of Wayne and Mopper obviously making a grand final, and maybe that's the way that the Water Cannons continue on throughout the Super Summer Series.
Could it be Mopper and Daly? I mean, that's another potential. You have a look at the difference here, and the body language of Wayne Wunham and the awkwardness in that top photo with Pete Delbridge, and the sheer joy and closeness that photo looks with his interim partner in Mopper, and it just speaks volumes. So again, I can understand why there's a question mark there. The photos don't lie. There's always been talk of tension, and it'll be interesting to see how this partnership and this triangle of players come together for next season, particularly with the specialist fielders potentially splitting and Luke Delbridge being available.
I think the Water Cannons next year will be a full-time Matt Thorley and Wayne Wynnum, and Pete Delwood will find himself with another partner for the next season in potentially his son Luke Delbridge. I think that might be a good father-son team again.
All right, that draws it out. Let's have a look at what it's going to look like for the trade period. We want you to nominate by the 1st of July. Are you back as your normal team, or will you be registering your new team? So please do that by July. Apply for a new licence if it's a new team by the 15th of July. By the end of July, the Commission will make its decision on team licences, and then registration payments will be required by mid-September. We'll put some reminders in the WhatsApp group, but that is the trade process. Let's have a look at Tokemall, and can we just give a big shout out to Wayne Johnson, who came up with this initiative, just over here with a beer one night, thinking it'd be great to get away. Within a matter of weeks, we've got 16 blokes that are committed to going away to Tokemall for a pre-season training camp for Super Summer Series 5. So let's have a look at it. Arrivals Friday the 28th of August. There is free golf available on the Friday if you want to get up there at that time with a tee off at 1 o'clock on the south course. It does have 2 courses, a great offering up there at Tokemall. The Saturday, we're off at 9:32 a.m. From the north course, and on the Sunday, we're off at 9 o'clock in the morning on the south course. So that's the golf. That's the structure of golf. Those tee times are booked. Just having a look at the offering. So it's $20 breakfast. We've got free breakfast on the Saturday or Sunday. We've got a meals voucher for both nights as well. Carts are booked, so every team has a cart if you want one. And if you do want one, it's $62 per cart. Split that in half with your partner. If you want to walk, that's fine. We'll just have to let the pro shop know. The total cost is $280 per person, already been advertised. We've paid our $50 deposit, so it's $230 outstanding. I'm looking to get payment by the end of July, so we lock and load that, and we get that paid to take them all, and we're all done. A couple of other things. There is a 12-seater bus with a trailer that's been booked. Jono has done that. He's booked that as well. That is available for anyone who wants transport. We'll do an EOI process for that. That is complimentary, the bus. Jono's got that for a great deal, and SSS will pick up the tab for the bus. There might need to be a bit of a chip in for the fuel, but there is only 12 seats. 16 doesn't go into 12, but we'll see, we'll put a bit of an EOI out for that. So it's really shaping up as a good weekend. Twin chair, obviously. There's the, we'll put that on the WhatsApp group as well, but that's what the accommodation share will be. So obviously the McManus lads together, John O, the Blue Gorillas, Lukey Dell and Mickey Hay, myself and Dally will partner up. We've got Coggers and Danger, the good fellas together, the Fuggies and Spazball. So that is the twin share accommodation pairings. Now, on the Saturday, we talked about a Ryder Cup style thing. We will be running a Commissioner's Cup on the Saturday. We've had a little bit of a consultation about what this could look like. So Ben, talk us through it.
Yeah, so it's going to be 2 teams of 8. Obviously, there will be, I believe, a captains, which will be announced at a later date, 2 captains and then 2 teams of 8. Within that format, there will be pairs v pairs Ambrose, so that the captains will nominate what their team matchups will be, and then they will obviously nominate the tee times as well, whether it's the first seeding game, the second seeding, third and fourth, moving on throughout the tee times as well, so that they will announce those matchups as well in due course.
And it's match play?
It is match play. The captains will select the pairing, so it is a match play which gets through the round a little bit quicker rather than your standard stroke play with Ambrose. The most holes won determines the win. So if it is a tie and it's 2 games to 2, if one team, for instance, Ben McManus gets 42 holes won and the other team gets 40 holes won, the McManus team will win, even though it is a 2-2 tie.
And
well, this one's been added in. The commissioners decided to add this one in. This wasn't agreed upon, but the losers will buy the winner's dinner. So the losing team will buy the winner's dinner, and it will be the winner's choice.
All right, so Commissioner's Cup on the Saturday. The 2 captains will be announced at a later point in time, and they will then select which of the 16 players will be on their team. We will be asking for players to submit their handicaps. If you don't have one, just say you don't have one, and that'll give the captains a little bit of background knowledge around what they might do in their team selection. It's going to be very interesting when these captains are announced and the strategy that goes in to team selection, but also pairings and then matchups against opposition. It's going to shape up as a great day.
It'll be a great day. It'll be a great competition and a bit of fun, and hopefully something a little bit different to your normal Ambrose on a Wednesday night. So it will be a good matchup.
And Sunday will be players' choice. So if you want to play off the stick, there might be a competition running. Up to you. You want to play Ambrose with your partner, but it'll be players' choice on the Sunday to enjoy all that Token Mall offers. So that's it for Token Mall. Now, another announcement for next season. It'll be season 5 for Super Summer Series. We are going to be updating our polos. So registration, there'll be a little bit of just a little up the ante on registration to cover off a new polo. Berkeley are going to offer up a few designs for us.
Yeah, we'll be putting a few designs in, probably 3 designs for the SSS team or the members to be able to vote as to what their most favourable design will be, and we'll go from there and get it all sorted.
All right, lots to look forward to for Super Summer Series. We've got the trade period, so team nominations will be more on that. We've got Token Mall to look forward to. We'll be an EOI around the bus, and obviously we'll put some more information out around our announcement of T captains will be coming up. Lots of interesting stuff coming up on the SSS WhatsApp channel over the next few weeks. Ben, thank you again for your company tonight on Trade TV. Well done on the premiership, and really looking forward to Token.
100% looking forward to Token Mall. A pre-season camp will be very good for the SSS competition.
Thanks all.